There are lots of Americans who don't see themselves in your plans. For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people.
Oh, JEJE. It's JEJE vibe.
You can't feel the vibe.
I'm feeling it.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is going to be an amazing episode.
All our episodes are amazing.
Big facts, big facts. You know I got the queen with me. It's election season.
It is. It's getting close.
It's getting close. It's getting close.
Yet it seems so far.
It's getting close. So we have to talk about it. So today we're going to be focusing on
the vice president.
The sitting vice president, Kamala Harris. She did her first interview with a network. Let's say her first network interview, which is like home turf. Like that's like you're in your home ground. So you're playing. You have a home advantage. This is MSNBC.
That would include making it more difficult for workers to earn overtime, an agenda that would include cutting off access to small business loans for small businesses, an agenda that includes tariffs to the point that the average working person will spend 20% more on everyday necessities and an estimated $4,000 more a year on those everyday necessities, to the point that top economists in our country, from Nobel laureates to people at Moody's and Goldman Sachs, have compared my plan with his and said my plan would grow the economy, his would shrink the economy. Some of them have actually assessed that his plan would increase inflation and
What plan?
I think it's a child credit plan and the 25,000 first home buyers. I guess those are the.
But those are basics plan anyways. Home buyers always get incentives. Yeah, first time home buyers.
But this is not even a question. Like
It's not.
How would you solve the economic issues right now that's going on? And she's talking about Nobel laureates and all of these people, Goldman Sachs,
Comparing their plans.
This is not everyday Americans who are hit. It's like these are still billionaires we're talking about, like
Corporations. But I mean, don't let's even talk about corporations now. The thing about it is that what is your plan in terms of, I guess, this high inflation that we've been going through, the whole economic hardship, immigration crisis, inflation.
Crazy.
And there are more also. The chaosness that comes with everything too.
Crazy.
What are your plans?
anybody for being rich, but they should pay their fair share. But tax cuts for the billionaires and the top corporations in our country, and then not really paying much attention to middle-class families. My perspective on the economy is when you grow the middle class, America's economy is stronger. And there's empirical evidence to prove my point correct.
Then let me ask you about taxes, because lots of people will say, I don't like Donald Trump, but he cut my taxes. He didn't just cut corporate taxes, he cut individual taxes. Now that expires next year, and there's some people confused saying, I don't know what's going to happen next year. Under a Harris administration, at what income level should someone expect their taxes to go up? And that state and local tax deduction that's currently capped, and matters to a lot of people in blue states, you're going to lift that cap?
So, first of all, when it relates to anybody making less than $400,000 a year, your taxes will not go up. Your taxes will not go up. And in fact, under my plan, taxes for 100 million Americans will actually be cut, including $6,000 a year for young couples for the first year of their child's life in a tax cut, a tax credit, essentially, by expansion of the child tax credit. And why is that? Because during the first year of a young couple, of a person's child's life, they are going to need help buying a crib, buying a car seat. And we all benefit when they're actually able to do what they naturally want to do to take care of their child.
And expanding that child tax
So
credit.
you went
mentioned
from
housing before.
I don't even want to break this down.
Giving that extra money for a first home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes, and we're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it. It's about paying their fair share. I am not mad at anyone for achieving success, but everyone should pay their fair share. And it is not right that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet every day across our country are paying a higher tax than the richest people in our country.
Bill Gates just said it this week. If he was in charge of taxes, he would have paid more. But how do you find...
So, there's a whole lot to talk about there. But
It is.
I don't want us to really
Dive too deep into it, and then diving too deep into it now is like trying to now tell her what to do, and we're not gonna do that.
So we're not going to do that. So, you guys can go watch the whole entire interviews on MSNBC, and that was Kamala Harris' first interview in a long time. So we have to still go back to all the interviews that she has done.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, before this interview, she did with Oprah.
I think of middle class, I think about people who are able to just get up and go and do things within their means, and like not extravagant things, but be able to get up and go to dinner whenever they want, or maybe take that trip, that long weekend trip. We don't have that luxury.
But this was the question, though.
Off some of our mortgage. It's also beneficial for them because they can save on cheaper rent. But we really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging. Which is when, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices, and there needs to be accountability and consequence for that. So I'm going to be taking on price gouging. But it's also about dealing with what we need to do around home ownership, right? So as someone mentioned during this film, look, I grew up a child of a mother who worked very hard. She raised me and my sister, and she saved up, and by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy a home. And we grew up actually for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center that was owned by the woman we called our second mother, because she helped my mother raise us. And she was a small business owner, Miss Shelton. So I'll bring all this together to tell you the way I think about it is, one, when people work hard and have a dream of buying a home, we should give you the opportunity to be able to do that, which is why part of my plan is for first-time homeowners, buyers to have a $25,000 down payment assistance to buy your first home. Because people just need to be able to get their foot in the door, and then you'll do the hard work. Part of my plan is what we need to do to support small businesses, because my second mother was a small.
The question was, what are you going to do about the cost of living? You went from that to talking about, oh, your plan is, I guess, taxing the corporations because of what? Price gouging. Price gouging, which is another name for inflation that your current economy created.
Crazy.
And hey, yes, I said I wasn't going to go too deep, so that would mean us trying to now feed her the answers to the questions that she needs to ask. But nevertheless, I'll say one thing though: even the corporations are suffering. A lot of them have shut down several businesses of several locations.
Facts.
Laying off several people.
Facts.
Yet your economy continuously say that there are jobs, that you guys are creating jobs, whereby people are currently losing their jobs every day.
And this is people that the question is coming from some
Corporations too are taking their business outside America.
The question is even coming from a couple that already have a home.
But you went from that. They're only telling you, they're only asking questions about what are you going to do with the high cost of living. Okay, so you went from the price gouging. Sorry, I went a bit too deep. You went from the price gouging now to first-time homeowner.
Crazy.
And then you went from first-time homeowner to now small businesses. What has that got to do with the question?
This is it's like from the question, the initial question, she's saying this is like a middle-class family. And they're talking about how it's even hard for them to afford their mortgage. And you're talking about first home buyers. They already have a home. They're about getting their foot in the door. They're already in the house. They don't need to get their foot in the door. They're living in the house already. How can you help when it comes to the high cost of living? And you're talking about, oh my God. So that was one of the. There's a whole lot that happened in this. You have celebrities that we haven't seen in crazy, that they're not even relevant anymore, and
circulating back and supporting.
It's the same old story.
As much as we call Trump out on this whole sorority thing, which he shouldn't have said in the debate anyways, but this is an example of it.
Because otherwise I might go to prison for life in some cases. Think about what we're doing in terms of saying that certain people who are in these state houses, and then starting with the former president of the United States, think they're in a better position than a doctor or a nurse to determine when their patient needs medical care. This literally, and Amber's story highlights the fact that among everything that is wrong with these bans and what has happened in terms of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, it's a healthcare crisis. It's a healthcare crisis that affects the patient and the profession. And going back to Hadley's story, and Hadley, you've been so remarkable in telling your story and being so strong in the way you do it. And both of these stories really, I mean, the courage.
Y'all, I love that. That's a big takeaway, because we're all feeling really good right now. But what really matters is, what are we going to do? Absolutely. What are we going to do? Thank you so much, Star. I see somebody else on the screen, Julia Roberts. Hi, Julia.
Hi. Hi.
I heard you were so excited you wanted to be here tonight. Why?
Well, first of all, Oprah, thank you for hosting this, because I guess if I started a voting club, it would be conversationalists for Kamala.
Yes.
Because to talk, to listen, to be heard, to have this back and forth is so unique in this campaign to beautiful, wonderful Kamala Harris, who I've had the good fortune of knowing.
And hey, there's Tracy Ellis Ross coming up there. Tracy, now listen, if anybody should have a voting party, I think it should be at your house because you have great parties, girl.
I just want to say hi, hello, Madam Vice President. It's just an honor. I actually have never met you, which is crazy. And hi, Oprah. Wait, what did I miss?
We just saw each other the other day. Okay. Oh, hi, Tracy. Hi.
Hi, Oprah. How you doing?
Yeah. This is exciting, though, isn't it? Isn't it exciting?
It's exciting. It's exciting because I believe in democracy. I believe in the future of our country, in reproductive freedom, bodily autonomy, women leading. I believe in decency. The idea of leading with joy and kindness has always been in my DNA. And I'm here both for the seriousness of this election, but the joy with which it is being handled.
How are you feeling about the momentum?
Oh, man, this has been overwhelming to have the privilege to sit in and listen to the testimony of the people here. Hello, President Harris.
Yeah. 47 days.
47 days, yes.
From my mouth to God's ear. And hello, Oprah.
It just feels like it's a Hollywood
Sisterhood.
conference.
Yep.
But I guess it's women, so I guess that's how you guys do your thing. Like,
I don't say that now. That's disrespectful. Not all women. They'll make me come for you now.
oh my God. Sorry.
Oh my.
Oh my God. Sorry
No.
to all the beautiful ladies. But anyway, it just felt like that though. You have the Zooms was like multiple people. But anyway, moving forward, there's a whole lot that has been happening too. And Janet Jackson, you know, it's rare that we hear Janet Jackson in the news.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she did an interview.
Oh, she's not always in the news lately. She keeps it really private for someone that's very famous.
Very. And shout out to the Queen. So, no disrespect to the Queen will be tolerated.
No, never.
Janet Jackson is respected and forever will be respected. So, for these disrespects, we have to talk about it.
We have to.
So they asked her a question and she gave her opinion. And everybody has been coming for her ever since and forcing her to come out with an apology. And the opinion she gave is...
It wasn't even an opinion. She just said that she heard. So if you hear other people saying that someone ain't black, why should I have to apologize for saying what I heard?
I'm just like, it's just something I heard.
I heard it. I'm not confirming it. I'm not telling you.
Like,
I'm just saying that I heard.
I heard that her father is white.
Do people even understand English these days?
It's crazy. People just want to like...
So the word heard now is what?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Everybody's just getting...
And then seeking apology.
Superstar Janet Jackson just did a wide-ranging interview with British newspaper The Guardian, but most of the focus is on when she was asked her thoughts on VP Kamala Harris possibly becoming the first black female president. She said, she answered by saying that she had heard that Harris's father was white. which we all know is false. And a staffer claims that he was fired for issuing an apology in her name and that her team certified he wasn't authorized to speak on her behalf. Now, Jackson has not responded to requests for comment, but no matter how you feel about celebs speaking out politically, is it okay for somebody to say, I don't know, I made a mistake?
Well, she hasn't said that she made a mistake. We don't know what she said because it's been one thing and another. Look, I think Janet Jackson, like every other American, whether you're a celebrity or not, has a right to endorse, support, or not support whomever they want. So she's got every right to not like Kamala Harris if she doesn't want to.
But that's not what she said.
What she doesn't know, what she did was spread misinformation. And I think it's very irresponsible when you have a platform the way Janet Jackson does to use that platform carelessly to spread misinformation based on a racist allegation by Donald Trump, right? It was Donald Trump who tried to say Kamala Harris just turned black. So let's just go through the 101. Kamala Harris is the daughter of two immigrants. Her mother is South Asian from India. Her father is black from Jamaica. Here is a picture for all of you who need, or for Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Here's the damn picture.
I feel like a picture of Kamala also would have done, Kamala Harris would have done the trick.
Seeking an apology. I'm glad Janet has to, she stood her ground.
She doubled down on it.
Nah.
As she should.
Also, she's mourning her brother. Legendary. Rest in peace, Tito. Tito Jackson just passed away. And you guys are bringing this apology to Kamala for her opinion, and while she's going through what she's going through, losing a brother. Come on. Even giving her donkey of the day.
That's crazy.
Please give Janet Jackson the biggest hee-haw.
Man, the nerve of you, though.
The height of disrespect, I'll say.
And we talk about respecting our black queens. What respect is that? You're asking your audience if she should get donkey of the day. The nerve. Yo. And that has opened a whole lot of, because the question is now asked, is Kamala Harris black?
Of which now several photos were now beginning to circulate of her past ancestries on how she has some percentage of Irish, some percentage of white, some percentage of Indians, and hey, maybe traces of black.
Because I decided to simply look into her genealogy, because why on earth is the world trying to convince me that this woman is suddenly black? Like they just decided she was black because she's running and because there is evidence, it is true, that her father grew up in Jamaica. Your race does not magically change because of where you grow up, okay? If I grow up in Sweden, I don't get to suddenly say I'm white, okay? And what I discovered was quite startling. Now, I'll ask you, when did you first get the idea that Kamala was black? Well, you'll say, yeah, when she kind of started running with Joe Biden. And that claim really came from Kamala herself. When they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, they understood that Kamala Harris published a book in 2019 called The Truth That We Hold. And presumably the book was filled with truth that she was holding. I had to look through it. And I saw this picture of her and her grandmother, clearly a black-looking grandmother, on page 282 in the photograph section. It reads, as you can see, visiting my paternal grandmother, Beryl, in Jamaica. Also on that same page, there's another photo of her. Again, you can see it's black and white. I'm not quite sure why it is black and white, but it says, when I was 10 months old, I visited Spanish Town, Jamaica. This is me with my mother and my paternal grandfather, Oscar Joseph. And now this guy looks mixed. He looks Asian of some description, but you can see the idea here is that she's definitely trying to introduce, in a manner of photos, things that make her race look more complicated. So I just decided to investigate that, and immediately things got weird, very weird. First and foremost, because it was very easy for me to determine via just a light search online that Beryl, her alleged paternal grandmother that you just saw, died 4 years before Kamala was born in 1960.
Which is, there's nothing bad in that.
she
is, I don't want to say it.
But hey.
But she is. She is who she is. But there's a whole lot happening right now. There's a whole lot happening in 2024, man. 2024 has been an amazing year. So.
And then the collard greens videos also circulated again.
Crazy.
Trying to, I guess, validate Kamala Harris' blackness. Card.
I was there with Jay Moore and Charlemagne the God, and I was about to head out of town to meet my family and cook for Thanksgiving. I won't mention where I was going, but where I was going, I knew I was not going to be able to find the kind of greens there that I could get here. And so, yes, that was me in my suit and heels, walking through Charleston International Airport, carrying 2 big plastic bags full of fresh South Carolina collard greens. It's a true story. And yes, as I walked on the plane, there were a few people who gave me the look and the nod. A friend who had a Christmas party, Christmas Eve every year, and she asked me to make the greens for her party every year. And I am not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
So how do you make your greens? Do you put turkey in them? Do you
bacon.
Nice. My grandma
I do bacon.
She's put
garlic.
vinegar.
I put white vinegar. Yes. I do. So I start with, I slice up my garlic. But no, first I chop up the bacon and get all that fat going. Then I put garlic. Some chili peppers, and then a lot of water and a little chicken stock, and I let it go for a while before I put the greens in. And then, right, so you get that going and all that flavor, and then I put the greens in for a couple hours. Then I do vinegar, and then I cheat and do a little Tabasco.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, but Tabasco of all, like I like Louisiana hot sauce, but Tabasco has that right amount of vinegar. Yeah. And that's how I do my greens.
I see why you get invited every year.
Auntie, what are you doing? Herbs from my garden, onion, lemon.
What is this process of the juice and then?
Come on, honey. It's a baster, and I'm the juice. You baste.
What are you doing now?
Caramelizing the onions, Nina.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
No, you need to.
I need to learn.
Videotaping me. I'm trying to teach you. You're more than being a video.
Get in my belly.
Get in my belly. Right, Marlon. So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around.
It's crazy. How isn't it nasty for you to wash your collard green in the bathtub
where you shower?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and there were videos that she mentioned on several occasions.
And this is crazy because right now, these days, you have AI, and AI could just give you a recipe of Kamala making of how you need to. For those of you who ask for JEJE recipes, you might get a recipe from Kamala. Like
that's crazy. That will be crazy.
So if you're trying to wash your collard green or your veggies,
please wash it in the sink in the kitchen.
Please don't even do that, man. That's nasty work. You're nasty. Well, I'm not coming for cooking skills, but that idea that you had to wash collard greens in the bathtub, like
because there was so much.
There was so much.
You could watch them bit by bit.
Like
you could get a big plastic basin
or something, and or pot or something, and just take it one step at a time.
Not
putting the whole thing in the bathtub.
Not the bathtub.
That's nasty. Oh my God.
And nobody does that.
No. No. I like, if I see you doing it, man, no shit. Like, I never eat outside, so, but like, if I see you doing it, man, and for any of those people that were in Kamala's party where she said she had this Christmas party and she had to wash the collard greens in the bathtub, please go check yourself. Please go, make sure you check yourself, man. So, bro, what do you guys think about Kamala, man? This is the first interview that she's done in a long time. She hasn't even given a chance for interviews, and she gave MSNBC, and
it'll be nice for her to go to Fox News.
Gee, that's asking too much.
At least away now, not home.
Like that's asking too much. Like, she's not even delivering when it comes to home games. Not talk of going away. That's going to be a problem because people are going to give her a tough time with the questions.
She has to.
And she has to be able
She has to also go away too.
Like, you need to be able to answer the questions.
She doesn't answer the question around if the GOP is controlling the Senate, if she can't raise corporate taxes, where is she going to get the money from? To expand the child tax credit and do all the things she wants to do. And she says, we just have to do it. And that's great, and that's a campaign promise. But the issue is, if it means we're just going to borrow again, then what we're doing is we're just never addressing the deficit.
The job demands answers.
And if you can't answer the questions the right way,
so is this what are you trying to show us?
My own thing is that if you can't answer the questions the right way, then how do you know the actions that you need to tackle, or the plan, or the agenda, or issues like they put on their website?
I think she's answering the questions the best way she's prepared to answer the questions, because she's repeating.
You said it. It's always repetitiveness of the same thing over and over and over again, like when you cram something.
Yeah. So that's the question. That's the answer she prepares for. And the only thing is, at least to be able to mix it sometimes. Is this going to be a glimpse of your presidency where you don't give chance to interview, you don't give press conferences, you're not going to answer to the American people when it comes to your questions, if they really have questions to ask you?
You just say whatever it is, or mumbo jumbo everything, and let them make do with it. Then what is the whole point trying to now govern a country?
That's crazy.
Yet you guys push for democracy.
Crazy. So guys, this whole lot of talk about Kamala Harris
on the testimony of the child accuser.
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
Jackson gave a wave when he was released after booking. He's scheduled for arraignment in January.
Michael's been a long-time resident of Trump Tower, and last night the Donald strongly reiterated his defense of Jackson with Larry King by going after the accuser's mother.
She's had plenty of experience at going after people, and she goes after them viciously and violently, and I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done, and I don't believe it.
But you know what it's like when an indictment comes down.
It's tough.
It's presumption.
It's tough. It's tough to win, but I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints, and Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids, and at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And, you know, that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of Michael's life.
But we're going to leave it here.
We're going to leave it here. We've been able to touch on every of the news that's been around her for the past few days. And
it's been a lot.
We had to talk about Janet Jackson because we're not going to tolerate any disrespect from Janet Jackson. And to those of you who are volunteering to disrespect Janet Jackson,
those of you that called her donkey of the day, you need to apologize.
And if you like, you apologize, man. It's just disappointing for you guys to do that. Like, you don't have to.
It's disrespectful.
Like, she's entitled to feel how she feels.
And she didn't even say that she's black. She said she heard.
She heard. And that's...
If I hear something, I say, oh yeah, I heard this thing. That doesn't mean that it's true. That doesn't mean that it's not true.
It's not me. I'm not spreading any information. I'm just telling you what I heard. Everybody, we all hear something. We all say that when it comes to...
Sometimes you hear the lie. Sometimes you hear the truth. Sometimes misinformation or whatever it is, it's heard.
It's left to you. It's left to you guys to go figure out whatever truth you're looking for. So, like we said, there's a rabbit hole when you now start looking for, where's this and this and this. How long do you want to go?
But we're not diving too deep into the rabbit hole. It's deep. Knock yourself out. Do your own research.
As for us, we out of here. We'll see you guys in the next one. You know it's JJ vibe.
Oh, JJ. It's JJ vibe. It's JJ vibe. It's JJ vibe.